I am Mark Stewart, and there is a bleeding heart here. Bleeding for victims of crime. And bleeding even for those of us who have yet to be physically assaulted by a criminal, but spend part of our lives in fear of that assault. So where does that bleeding heart get us towards policy? The policy is to make people safer. With it, submerge the fears that more and more we have, especially urban dwellers. I turn you to a city that has seen a lot of violence, Houston. And in early January, Houston saw what some call vigilante, what I call an accessory to good citizens, an accessory to the police who can't be there all the time. A man who witnessed a thug come into a restaurant and brandishing what looked like a weapon, threatened everyone's life if they didn't lay down their cash. People in the restaurant complied. We saw this on video. They didn't want to get shot. On the way out, this smug thug got it because a civilian with a gun was able to take him down. Unfortunately, this civilian is now going before a grand jury for charges including second-degree murder. The DA who is pushing for this is way out of line. This man, from all video evidence, should be dismissed. It shouldn't even come up to a grand jury. Please remember, a prosecutor has to weigh whether she or he can get a conviction in the first place. There is no way that 12 members of a petty jury are going to convict somebody who is protecting against thuggery. But in front of a grand jury, his name gets spread, his reputation could be perverted, and his ability to act well might get stifled. This man acted well. He was at that point the only thing between this thug getting away with it and possibly brutalizing other people and stopping him. Brutalizing other people is highly likely when you get away with round one. And for this thug, it was round at least 3. He had been charged with capital murder in 2013 and was convicted, sentenced to prison, somehow got out early because his sentence was 15 years. He was later arrested in December of 2022 after pushing his girlfriend, scratching her, and he faced misdemeanor family violence charges. He was unfortunately released on bail to make predations against other people. Thugs who get away with things prey on the rest of us even more. Now, it is possible that what's animated this prosecutor in taking him to a grand jury is that he put one extra bullet into the thug's body after he was prone. Doesn't mean after he was dead. Nobody inspected. There are many good reasons. If I were a juror, I would think nothing of it, because this thug had every power within himself not to engage. His crossing the Rubicon to do or threaten violence means, whatever violence comes back at you, it's on you. Don't blame a vigilante for doing the right thing. And yes, one extra pop to the body, I have 3 at least reasons. One is the not so thoughtful, one is the quite thoughtful, and one is the extremely thoughtful. So not so thoughtful, but still excusable. The person who has taken down the thug with his gun is so enraged, not from his own volition, but enraged by being the target himself, that almost anything is justifiable in reaction. This might not be well thought out. I don't care. This was thought out enough by the thug, and he should suffer the consequences. It possibly could have been the finishing bullet. but whether it was or wasn't, I would excuse this. Now, here's the more thoughtful thing. You don't know if somebody lying prone is able to claw back, reach for an extra weapon, and get after you or somebody else. Okay? There are incidences of people who were taken down and survived enough to then hurt others in the room. And here's the very thoughtful. The expectation that he would hurt others in the room if allowed to leave that room. Okay? Bloodied or not, if he was allowed to recuperate in a hospital without punishment, maybe even with a civil damage award against the restaurant owner or the shooter vigilante or whatever claim some goofball liberal judge wants to hear, he's at the top of the line when victims are sloughed off. Thoughtfulness includes, I'm ending this threat. I'm ending this guy's life, and he brought it on. That's how you solve crime. It's also how you very well prevent crime in the first place. And that is the ultimate goal of people carrying weapons legally. It's to prevent crime. I'm Mark Stewart.